Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the purpose of insults. Some of us in society, we live and we function, we stay with our head above water and we do our best and we come back home to our families. And sometimes we invest in ourselves and we do the best that we can to become the best that we can. However, along the way, there are some individuals that have certain opinions that just so happen to be insulting. And I think to the core, it's important that we perceive the insults in a certain manner because if it's not received in a certain manner, it's not going to be beneficial and it's going to harm us in the long run. So I believe that insults should be received or perceived in a manner that is completely opposite to what the person's intention is. Of course, if someone's going to send an insult, it's not only a sign that they are insecure, they have a shortcoming within themselves, but it also should be a privilege to be seen as someone worthy of insulting. Because think about it as such, a robber goes into neighborhoods, at least a competent robber, goes into neighborhoods to rob. They're not going to go into a neighborhood or a house or a room where there's nothing to rob. A person that's sending an insult to you, they're being insulting, they're being rude, they're being disrespectful. They're not going to do that unless they see something in you that is valuable or important to the world. And my reason to back this information up is persons that are irrelevant or not important don't argue or fight against persons that are also irrelevant or important. The news doesn't broadcast nobodies. Gossip doesn't start on persons that are not doing anything. They're not going to insult you unless you're doing something. They're not going to waste their breath on you unless you're doing something, unless you're capable, unless they see something within you. So, if a person does insult you, if they are going to be and stoop to such a level to try and get a reaction out of you or to break you down, and notice the word choice, break you down, it's because you're at a certain level. You're at a certain level, and it's surely not on the same level as them. And I'm sure they're not above. Because persons that live in a penthouse don't insult persons that live below them. It's no point. You've achieved more. You're bigger. You're stronger. How would it look? A person that is to the highest capacity, stooping down to such a level. It just means that you don't have value in yourself. You don't have the character that reaffirms the accomplishments that you have already achieved. So, in my experience, just to be more confiding, actually, in my experience, I would have received many insults from several different persons and different capacities. But I find that the persons that do insult are insecure, and the persons that usually are above, they don't really say much. They may chuckle or they may bluff. If that's the word, they're not bluffing, actually. They may scoff at best, but they're not directly trying to destroy or to bring me down a notch. In fact, I've met some people that try to humble me or try to quiet my flame because they believe, and this is their perception, they believe or perceive that I am in need of humbling or toning down a notch. And it's really, really funny because a person like myself, I don't consider myself someone to be easily pacified or a person that is quenched without purpose. If you're going to tell me to stop talking, you're going to have to give me a reason to stop talking. And you insulting me is not going to get me to just stop talking. All right. If I'm wrong, then you can correct me. And if I am wrong, I may as well be quiet. But the persons that insult, they usually don't know better. They surely don't do better. And it doesn't make them feel better, especially in the long run. So I say from experience, let the insults be a compliment, a stroke to your ego, a ignition, and a spark to the fuel that you have within. Because if you do channel that negative energy into something possible, positive, not possible. If you channel that energy into something positive, it will return. It will bring a return. There's no if, ands, or buts about it. What you put in is what you get out. What you put out in the world is what you will receive. And that is good and bad. Those persons that give out insults all the time, persons in the future will not see them as respectable individuals. It's just inevitable. So look forward to those insults. Look forward to those disrespectful people coming to you direct because it's a sign that you are doing something right. And I know it's hard to come from a person like myself because some of you may not know me, but for those that know my story and they know who I am and what I'm trying to achieve, I am willing to bet my life on it. That what you put in is what you get out. It's just it's just the way of life.